Hey folks, so I'm going to do the Look Be a Landlord tier list. Unfortunately, it's impossible, right? So I was like, you know what? Here we go. I'm going to make a tier list of all the Look Be a Landlord symbols, and then that's just it. I'll be done. It'll be like an hour long. I'll have it all solved. I'm not that smart. I don't know if anybody's that smart. Here's the problem. There are three. Okay, first off, there's a spectrum of like moments in this game. And I can kind of identify them as early game, mid game, late game. And the mid game and late game, they're so different from game to game that it is virtually impossible for me to make just an arbitrary tier list. If I say, like, let's say you get to the mid game and you're looking down here and you have a bear and the bear item, and then you see a honey pop up versus a moon, that honey might be better than the moon. Maybe you aren't quite able to hit the next rent. Suddenly this honey is amazing. It's like 100 gold. It might get you to the next rent. You just win. Because like I said in a previous video, the only thing you're ever trying to do in this game is to get past the next rent that you aren't going to get past. So once you get to the point where you're getting the next rent, you're worried about the next rent after that. If you've already got that rent covered, you're trying to do one after that. If you have an amazing combo by turn 7, by spin 7, and you're going to get to endless, now on turn 8, you're thinking about endless. You're trying to get endless going better. So it doesn't make any sense to just give you an arbitrary tier list. And so I was like, all right, you know what? We're going to do a tier list for just the early game, because that's something that has the fewest variables. Well, here's the problem. In the early game, if you see a diamond, you fucking want it. If you see a wolf, you fucking want it, because the wolf is worth 2 gold. This is normally a shitty symbol, in my opinion, in a lot of situations. However, if you get a wolf on turn 1, you're going to fucking get that 2 gold wolf, because that will let you be greedy and pick other symbols that you might want more. It'll let you skip things that you don't want to have to get. A wolf isn't that impressive, but suddenly in the early game, it's fucking mind-blowing. So we're going to change it up. I made a rule. I'm only going to look at common symbols, and I'm only going to look at the first 5 turns of the game. So with all of these requirements, I believe I can actually give you a limited tier list. So that's what we're going to do. So I built it up here, and I'll kind of describe my reasoning. So, all right, no surprise, the crab's at the top. Like, our boys, the crab, they've got me in my pocket. They've got me in their pocket. They've made it clear where our relationship stands, and I just think it's important to honor them. So crabs absolutely give you a lot of potential in the early game for a lot of escalation. I think Cultists actually beat crabs in the low numbers. Like if you get 3 crabs, I think Cultists might be better if you get 3 Cultists versus 3 crabs. So somebody might argue that Cultists are better than crabs, and I'm not going to tell them they're wrong. However, crabs have this magical ability of once you get to like 6 of them, and then you get like a rusty gear, suddenly they just outperform everything, and they can get you to endless by themselves. So crabs have such star potential, and I like star potential, so I'm going to give them S rank. I'm going to skip down to the base rank, and I'll explain to you why these symbols are utter garbage, and you're trying as hard as you can not to ever pick any of them ever in the first 5 rounds. Okay, in the first 5 rounds, you're trying to establish, and one of the things that you can argue with me here is diamond. I accept strong arguments that diamond does not belong in D rank. I understand where you're coming from. I'll tell you why I put it there. But first, we'll start here. So bear feels like something that enables picks, and that's good, right? So bear enables honey picks. Here's the thing. Honey is a rare. You're not going to see a rare pick for the first 20 spins, most likely. If you're not even going to see a rare spin in the first 20 spins, the only chance this guy has to help you is in the mid game or late game. How good is bear in mid game? So if you get a bear in the first 5 spins and you carry him with you in your pocket for 30 spins and he makes you 1 gold a turn, he's worthless. The only thing that makes him at all worthwhile is getting that common item that makes the bears worth double. I think it's worth 2 gold a spin. So you're telling me that you finally get to your honey, it pops up and you pick it for your bear. So you might be picking it over another rare because you might have a 3 rare pick because you're at one of those spins that gives you 3 rares, like maybe you got a lucky capsule. So you're telling me you're going to give your rare pick, potentially, to honey. It will give you like 74 gold if you have that bear, which is nice. Arguably pretty nice. It will also give you 3 gold around for a long time, which is also really nice. I don't know. I'm not. It does make a honey really, really nice. It's really nice to get honey with a bear and eat it. It's like a one-off thing. It's like getting like, I don't know, 5 buff capsules or something. Which, okay, that's nice. That's nice. I'll give you that's nice. So in this dream world where you get that bear early and you get a honey mid-game, it's actually nice. It can push you over a mid-game that's difficult to get through. In my experience, though, you're going to lose the game in the first 25 spins. And it's very, very, very possible that you don't get a honey in the first 25 spins, or if you do, it doesn't get next to the bear in time and you just die. So it is, again, you have to take things from the D rank. You have to sometimes take things from the D rank. You just gotta. You get to the point where you've skipped a symbol. Maybe you've got 2 symbol picks in a row that are nothing but these items. Maybe the 5th symbol pick, you have to pick one of these just so you don't run out of funds. Like, that happens a lot. But that's why the bear is down here. Arguably, if you bumped him up to C, I would say you're wrong. But I mean, yeah, at the end, I'd say you're wrong. But that's on you. You can be wrong. Egg is dangerous as hell because it can just make you lose the late game. You can just lose the late game. If you pick an egg on the first pick, you could potentially lose the late game just because you picked that damn egg and it multiplied into a bunch of chickens, and chickens aren't quite enough value to push you into endless, and you just lose the game because you picked a fucking egg on the second round. Doesn't feel good at all. Don't like it. Not a fan of egg. If you get an egg carton, suddenly these are beautiful. So, yeah. If we're not talking about the first 5 picks of the game, suddenly the egg matters more. And all of these symbols can be arguably good. Like, if I already had a bear item, you know what? Their bear looks a little bit better. Because now suddenly that honey is guaranteed to be worth 74. And maybe you have multipliers that could add to this bear. Okay, maybe so. Maybe we get the bear. Like, all of these items can be good in certain situations. But first 5 picks of the game, you have no items yet. This bear is not guaranteed to ever get the double bear. It's never guaranteed to get a honey. It's just not worth it. The egg, you're not guaranteed to get egg carton. Again, just not worth it. Coal. Again, it literally can't possibly get you anything until the first 20 turns are up. You're probably going to die in the first 20 spins. If you are already looking good, let's say you've gotten 3 crabs and then a coal pops up. Okay. Instead of skipping, maybe you get that coal to help you through the mid game. Sure, I could see that. Especially if you've let's say you get 3 crabs, you skip on the 4th symbol, and then you get a coal. Is coal uncommon? If coal's uncommon, it doesn't even belong on this list. Landlord coal. I just need to make sure. Yeah, it's common. Okay, we're good. So yeah, arguably, if you've got a good early game, if you've already got like 3 crabs or 4 cultists or something, and you got a pretty good early game, sure, you get a coal, you invest in your early game. I get it. That's your 5th pick. That's your 4th or 5th pick. 4th or 5th pick, coal can be good if you've got a good start. That's not likely. That never happens. Nobody ever gets that start. I mean, you get that once a blue moon, but most of the time you're going to be skipping on coal early on because you just can't afford to. It just doesn't add value and it clogs your board up. Like, the end. All of these 1 symbol picks that don't have synergy, I mean, they have crappy synergy. Seed arguably is the same. Are similar. So you can't get rid of these very easily at all. And that's true with all these symbols down here. They're hard to get rid of. Once you have them, you're kind of committed to having them for a long time. They're going to drain spots on your board. You're going to lose empty space. It just doesn't feel very good. So one thing that makes Diamond worse is it fills a spot. So if you get a Void Creature or a Void Stone, you're more likely to kill that Void Creature or Void Stone. And then also it subtracts $1 from the value of that often. So Void Creatures, Void Stones, and Lemons are 3 items that can make your early game really, really a lot more comfortable. And Diamond makes all of those less good. So it makes you less excited to get that big thing you want, which doesn't feel good at all. So likewise, Cherry has very few synergies. You can only get rid of it with a Mist Fruit. Because you can get rid of it with a Mist Fruit, I would put it like higher tier than... so because you start with a Cherry already, so you already kind of want to get a Mist Fruit, Cherry is probably the best one on this tier list. Like, if all these down here, I'm probably most likely to pick a Cherry. Because it is the most likely to actually manage to take off. I'm probably second going to take a Banana because that does enable you to get a Thief. And it enables you to eat that Thief. A Thief isn't an uncommon pick, though. You're not going to be seeing very many Thieves. You can go a whole game with and only see like 1 Thief at the very end. You do not want this Banana to waste your space for the entire game. That is terrible for 1 gold. It is not paying its rent on your... It's not paying what it needs to pay out to be worth anything. Gold... you will lose the game by chasing gold. You just will. You have to get triple coins and King Midas to make that get to endless. If you don't have both triple coins and King Midas, or King Midas and a rusty gear, you probably won't quite get to endless. You really want triple coins, rusty gear, and King Midas. You really want all three of those, or 2 King Midases to get this to endless. So coins are a trap, but they're better as long as you know they're a trap, because you have the outs of getting triple coins or rusty gear, because you start with a coin just like you start with a cherry, so you're getting one step closer to getting those enabled. Eggs are painful, pearls are painful. Seeds I would probably put maybe up here. They're better than the rest because you can technically get a 2 gold item out of that. And getting a 2 gold item early is freaking great. Absolutely. No matter what it is, if I get a 2 gold item early, I'm probably going to try to pick it if I can at all. Sorry, that's my phone. So yeah, absolutely. This critter here is potentially good. Potentially bad, potentially good. It's random chance. I should probably get it more often than I do. I hate having random stuff in my wheel, on my machine. I don't know. I just hate it. Frankly, if you told me that you picked a seed automatically in the first 5 spins, I would probably say, good job. That's gross. That would probably be my reaction. Good job. That's gross. Like, yes, I get it. Yes, mathematically, yes. Ew. All right, moving to tier C. So the common thread here, for the most part, and flour doesn't fit into this, for the most part, these are all things that can be destroyed at some point in the game. If you have something that destroys them already, it's an easy pick. It goes up to an S pick or an A pick. But if you don't have the thing that eats them, then they're a little risky. So this is eaten by both a diver and a fishbowl. Because the fishbowl and the diver both eat it, I feel like your odds of having your goldfish be eat later is about as high as having a cheese be eaten later. Because there's 2 outs for it. Even though one of them is an item, I think goldfish bowl is... If it's uncommon, then this might be a mistake. Yeah, I don't see it. If it's uncommon, that's arguably a mistake. But if it is a common item, it's not a mistake for sure. So 2 outs for the goldfish. Beer has not worth a lot, but it's an out for him. Cheese is a good out. Keys have a good out with boxes. The only thing that keys get stuck in you for is if you get the lockpick, which you often will want to get the lockpick on the first item pick. Earns if you get grave robber, which grave robber I might do an item tier list too, which might be kind of fun. And then finally flowers. The only reason flowers are here, and arguably they should be a D, but the only reason they're not D is that they enable you to pick rain to get through the early mid game. Whoop-de-doo, that's all they really do. They enable you to pick rain to get through the early mid game. I don't know what that's worth. I guess it's okay. You can get rain, you can get bees. You still probably don't want the lights. I don't know. Flowers, like maybe you can get... I would argue flowers probably should be D. Like, it's hard not to put them in D. But flowers are cute, so I'm putting them up here. All of these are the consumables. This one's probably hard to it's hard to put the banana where it should go. Because if you have a monkey, it's still sometimes bad to get a banana. So a banana turns into this, which is D, but it can be eaten by a thief, which is okay. So there's like multiple tiers of questioning the banana. Getting the monkey is more about using the uncommon coconut picks to get a lot of value than it is about using bananas. You never want more than 1 banana. So yeah, this is like probably ahead of flour, but only a little. Like, it doesn't feel great. And then the rest of these are just good consumables. I really like cheese and candy. The reason the toddler's probably one of the higher picks. It could probably go something like this. So this dice is just 2 gold a round. Like, let's just take the math out of it and just make it what it is. It's 2 gold a round. Getting a 2 gold common pick is amazing. It just does a lot of work for you. It saves you an extra pick. It gives you a breathing room. It's just wonderful. Early dice is great. I still don't like dice because they can't be destroyed very easily, so that's the downside. But 2 gold early is hard to argue with. Just like getting a 5 gold dice soon is it really early is, as an uncommon is good too because it's an average of 3 gold. 3 gold. Plus, there's items that synergize with it, so it actually can amplify to be like 2.5 gold or something. So yeah, it doesn't feel like much, but it's good enough. It's a B pick. Likewise, the rest of these enable picks. I've started really liking the shiny stone more because the archaeologist can eat it. There is a way to get rid of it later. And we often want to feed things to the archaeologist anyways if we can get one. There's no guarantee you'll get an archaeologist, so it could just be dead weight. But getting ramped up into uncommon picks early is so freaking valuable that it's hard to not value these highly. It may be down here. I don't know where this goes yet. I've only recently really started playing with them more. This is kind of a wild card, this shiny stone. It's only a multiplier of 1.1. If I had a chart that told me the rare chance for every single symbol pick, I could tell you definitively if shiny stone is worth it. But I don't have that, and I don't know how that rare chance changes over time, or even if it changes over time. So because of that, I don't know the math for this, and I don't know how good it is. It could be here, it could be a fucking deep, it could be like way down here, it could be D. It's hard to say. Now the rest of them are all pretty good, and I think they're about in order, something like this. And the reason they're in this order is because of multipliers and modifiers that you can get to them later. So mouse can go with mouse and ninja later, so it can scale up to endless. If you get a mouse and a ninja, and you get a mouse and ninja item, and you start getting cheese, you can get 80 gold per cheese. Like, you can just scale to endless right there from your common. Amazing. So yeah, mouse is amazing. It's one of the better ones. Now, the chances you're going to get mouse and ninja and also get a ninja are kind of low. So you don't bet the horse on it or the house or whatever you bet on. Whatever you're betting, you don't bet that thing on it. You bet like a penny or a poodle. No one. I mean, poodles are like not worth much, right? I don't know. You bet whatever that isn't worth a lot. I guess poodles are animals. I shouldn't devalue them. They're living beings. I just don't like poodles. Okay. Mouse is pretty good. Toddler's pretty good because there's a common item that also magnifies it. The toddler and candy, which doubles both the toddler and the candy, which is pretty cool. Because that means that if you get a piñata and the kid breaks it, the candy's going to be giving you 2 gold per for a while. So this isn't long lasting. There's no way that a toddler gets you to endless. It just doesn't. But it is a good way to get through the mid game, the early mid game and the early game. It can just help you push through that because candies are a common pick. So that's pretty cool. Likewise, the dwarf, not really any endless synergy. It does have an item that synergizes with it in Happy Hour, which increases the value of this, which will also increase the value that he gets from it. It also enables some common picks of the wine. Good enough to pick. It will probably make you some gold. It will enable some of these picks so that you don't have to just skip on symbols. So, not bad. It's okay. Because remember, if you have to skip on a symbol, not only are you not getting gold every turn from that symbol, you also don't get any payout for that symbol. So for instance, if you have a dwarf and you pick alcohol, even if that dwarf doesn't drink the alcohol for a few rounds, you're going to get money for that alcohol every turn it's up there. And by the time you get to endless or even mid-game, he'll have eaten that alcohol. So it's like you get that free gold every turn and there's no downside in the late game. All right, monkey used to be my favorite, but no more. Coconuts are uncommon. The end. That's why monkeys aren't that great. Coconuts are uncommon. All right, why are these S tier? Why is the cat S tier? Besides my obsession with cats. Let's talk about cultists first. I think we did a little bit before. Cultists are almost crabs. If you get six cultists, you're getting 7 gold around from each of them, and that's good enough to get you to endless. It's hard to get rid of cultists. That's the reason they're not S tier. It's hard to get rid of cultists. If you get 7 cultists in your deck, you're probably not going to go very far in endless. Sorry. You can get a rusty gear that doubles them, so you get 14 gold per token. But 14 gold per piece is nice, but eventually you need to get 10,000 gold occasionally. You know what I mean? Eventually it's not going to cut it. They take up a lot of space, and it's hard to get rid of them. They get you to endless, but that's as far as they get you. Maybe 2 rounds or 3 rounds into endless they get you. You could get a bunch of hexes of tedium and only get cultists. Eventually you'd have a board of 20 cultists, and you'd be making an obscene amount of money. 20 times 20 is like 400 gold per round, which gets you really far. Getting 400 gold per round gets you really far. Actually, 800 gold with the rusty gear. So you get 800 gold a round. Pretty impressive. 800 gold a spin. That's really big. So sure, you get the perfect board of cultists. You got a lot going for you. But that's a lot of luck. A lot of skipping and a lot of luck. If you get there, beautiful. That's why it's A tier. But otherwise, you've got a bunch of tokens that are hard to get rid of. You have to use a General Zareth, and General Zareth will kill your card sharks and your jokers, which feels bad. And any big archaeologists or divers that you have. So that feels bad. So A, definitely A, because it's that early money. It's that early money that escalates into end game pretty easily if you just get 2 or 3 more cultists. If you have a total of 4 or 5, I think if you have 5 cultists, they earn their place to get you to endless. They get you to the end game. They earn their spots. But if you only have 3 cultists, they get you almost to endless, and it feels kind of awkward. So you want to get at least 3 or 4 cultists to really feel good about it. But even if you only get 2 cultists in the early game, they're good enough to have put in your deck in the first 5 spins, because they'll get you to the mid game. And that's pretty important. They may not get you to the end game, but they'll get you to the mid game if you get 2 or 3 cultists early. Cats seems strange to put this high up, and I'll admit that seems strange. Cats have so much synergy. There's so many things that make cats better. There's 4 or 5 items that make cats better, 2 of which are common. There's an uncommon that makes cats 3 times better and stacks with the other 2 commons. There's a very rare thing that makes cats amazing for mid and late game. And then if you get enough cats, Rusty Gear starts multiplying these. If you even get that just Pizza the Cat, it just adds 1 gold to cats. You suddenly have all these commons that are getting you 2 gold a turn. That's great to get you to mid game. Great, wonderful. So getting 2 to 3 cats early is like absolutely fine. You already have 1 cat, so you're already working towards Rusty Gear anyways because you start with 1 cat. You're already a little bit invested in getting cats to multiply. So yeah, early cats, that's great. They make you 1 gold. You're probably not going to regret having them late game. You probably aren't. You're probably going to get things that make them good by the time you get to the end of the game. That feels good. Okay, Lockbox. It's great. It's 1 gold a round. Honestly, if we could just pick every token early on and they would all destroy themselves by the mid game, we would pick every single pick. No problem. Lockbox is probably going to kill itself by the mid game. Oops. I'm sorry. No, I don't need to answer that. Probably going to kill itself by the mid game. That was my phone, by the way. So yeah, perfect. That's all we ask for in a simple. Stick around when we need it, make the money we need when we need it, and then just die later and give us a bonus. Beautiful. The only downside is if we get like 6 of these, then it starts to be hard to get rid of them because you need a bunch of keys. But the first 2 to 3 of these lockboxes, you just take. Magpie is a really cool one. It seems like it might not be good because it's because I just want to get a picture of it. Somebody anywhere? Yeah, I can't find it. Ooh, look at that board. That's terrifying. That's just a dead game right there. I don't think I've seen this YouTuber. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that YouTuber.
All right, let's be a landlord. Let's give this another spin, shall we? See if we can get our...
I'm going to have to check him out. Anyways, Magpie, pretty cool. It seems bad, right? It's like an average of 1 gold a spin or something. I can't remember the exact thing. It's like minus 1 gold every time you hit it. And then every like 5 spins it gives you 9 gold. So like it's an average of like 1.25 gold. But that's not bad. But more importantly, there are 2 items that are common that make him better. Well, there's 1 item that's common, 1 item that's uncommon, and there's Beastmaster. So basically it's a 1.25 gold token. It's good enough to pick. It's usually going to hit before your first rent. That's the other thing to keep in mind when picking a Magpie. Make sure it's going to hit before the rent comes. It's kind of a good way to store money and turn it into things. It enables you to get the tax evasion, enables you to get birdhouse, and it enables you to get checkered flag. So all 3 of those things just ramp this thing up so that usually by the time you get to the mid game, if you've gotten these items, Magpie doesn't feel terrible. It doesn't feel terrible. It's definitely at the end of the list. You'd rather have any of these other symbols. But at the end of the game, Magpie doesn't feel terrible. In fact, I might put it here. Because even with all that said, I think I might rather pick a dice because it gets you through the early game better. So yeah, I think I'll put it down here. I don't think it's quite A tier. That was my phone again. I don't think it's quite A tier. So yeah, I think I would take that. I think I would take that and put it down here in B tier. So this is the final tier list. I'm going to go ahead and take a snip of it, and I'll put it on Imgur and like make a. I'll make like a link to it in the description of this video. So cool. Cool. Thanks for coming. If you guys have any questions, you want to tell me I'm wrong, please do so. It's very possible that I won't interact with your comment at all, and that's okay. But who knows? Maybe you'll have some good advice. I've had a lot of people in the comments that have had good advice, that have said things. I was like, oh, you know what? That's right. That's fucking right. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the idea. I think Zach was the guy. That was my phone again. I think his name was Zach, was the guy who suggested I do this. If I got your name wrong, I'm sorry. Or Zeke. I can't remember, but it was a cool idea. I appreciate it. And this is the result. So have a good day and take care. Bye-bye.